Welcome back to Morning Break and our monthly Good Biz with Liz segment, where we have Liz Goodgold back with us today. And we are talking about the positive ways bosses can speak to their employees to improve the work environment. I mean, I don't know about you, but top down is really what sets the tone in my mind when it comes to good places to work.
It definitely does. And as a business owner or that CEO of the company, you want to make sure that you create a dialogue, which means you're getting input versus doing a monologue, which means lecturing at them. So if you show up for this meeting and you have a PowerPoint, you pretty much have signified to employees that I am going to talk about this. This is the path we're on, and you're not going to detour. And that doesn't encourage a really good discussion.
So what would be the counter to that instead of doing a PowerPoint like that?
Tell them that we're having an agenda so that people can work on it. And then when you get to the event, really encourage participation. So maybe the first person who raises her hand and says, I have an idea, you say, fabulous, thank you. You have just now earned a 2.5-hour lunch, and here's a gift card.
Wow, I love that.
To go celebrate that. And then you can expand upon that by also doing what I call pair and share. So put two employees together and have them bounce ideas off of each other and then share some of those great ideas with the rest of the group, so you're getting some really good creativity.
How do you find the balance then of not letting the inmates run the asylum?
So you have to have control. So even though you're listening, and this is really where you put your active listening hat on, where you're saying things like, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying blah, 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 you're still controlling it. So you can encourage it. Say, you know, I haven't heard from John. John, what is your group thinking over here? So you don't get a monopoly. If you're also afraid of a certain group always hanging out together, you can take one of my tricks, which is I use a deck of cards. Everyone pulls a thing and you put all the jacks together, or the queens or the kings, so that you mix up the group. So you're mixing up the dynamics to get more good creative ideas and employee participation.
I think that would make a lot of sense, especially for companies that have like segregation. You know, I think about, you know, my news industry, right? We've got the newsroom, and we've got sales, and we've got management, and we've got kind of like these like little hubs within each of those groups. But by mixing it up, we can share ideas and we can work together better. And it's one of the things I love about Colo. I think we do that very well. But sometimes we can always do it better. And I love that idea of like, hey, I don't know what sales does. I don't know how they really make their money and the money that goes to our paychecks. So like, let's collaborate. Let's figure that out and like learn what the other person does. And it can probably be very eye-opening and create that positive reinforcement within a company.
It is, and the owner, him or herself, has to make sure that they're saying things such as, that's a great idea, thank you, tell me more. And making sure they don't go on the defensive. Perfect examples of going on the defensive are, one, the eye roll. Two, it's, yes, we've thought about that. Oh, we've done that before. Oh, that failed in the past. Those are all negative comments that don't encourage employee participation. So instead you want to say, thank you, tell me more, is that magic phrase. So you get all that good information coming out.
And then what about, you know, not letting it become just like a whining fest, you know, where it's like, oh, yes, we have encouraged people to come to us with their ideas, but a lot of times they're rooted in problems and maybe they don't even have a solution. How do you encourage that kind of critical thinking?
You listen to it, and then you make a deal with your employees, which is you're saying, I have heard you, and I guarantee you within 10 days, I will have an action plan. So the worst thing that you can do is ask for all this input and then do nothing with it. And then they feel like they weren't heard. But if you say, I will come back to you, I will have a recap, I will have an action plan, and then we're going to have a series of follow-up meetings to show you the progress we're making towards solving this problem.
And that can be a really big kind of a way of doing things that can attract new people as well. When you are hiring people, you know, that's where it all starts. You want to hire good people. So what are the ways in which you can express that this is how you do things to the people that you want to hire, so that they kind of get on board with the idea of how this work environment is going to be?
If you videoed that segment, that's a perfect thing to put on social media. People are looking at Glassdoor, for example, and they want to see how other employees believe in your company. And those make great testimonials. Look, here's an example. This brilliant idea came from this person. It's almost like going back where Flaming Hot Doritos came from, right? Right? It came from a factory employee. So this means you're listening and you're willing to take action, and that in turn helps recruit other great employees to your organization.
I love that. Man, I could talk about this forever. I know you and we were both talking before the show about books that we have read that's kind of on this like idea of leadership and management, and it is just so fascinating because there are ways in which the managers really can make or break a newsroom. And are you managing or are you leading? And we want all of our managers to be leaders as best they can. So thank you, Liz, for your advice today.
Always,
we really appreciate it. Thank you, and thank you guys for watching. We'll be right back.